So moving on to another franchise, actually from the game last night. Um, as you mentioned, the NFC East really isn't too competitive. They have 4 wins amongst all the teams together. But the Dallas Cowboys got walloped by the Cardinals, and stories are coming out today that Mike McCarthy is, I don't know, bad coach. I don't know what you want to call it. Um, but I guess an anonymous source said that the coaching staff is not doing enough to get prepared for football games. And I guess whether or not this is true, do you think it's more worrisome that someone anonymous leaked this, or more worrisome that players actually think that the coaching staff is not getting them ready?
I think it's definitely more worrisome that the players don't think, like, if this is true, that they don't think that the McCarthy and the coaching staff get them ready. That means they're already not bought into the system, and they already don't feel a sense of that they can win with this coach and with this team, and that automatically puts you in a position to not win games. Because one of the most important things with any team or with any project, say you're working on, is you buying into the system, you buying into the process. Because if you start with buying in, that means you got to put in your full effort to try and win games, to be competitive, and listen to your coach when he says, "Oh, hey, make this adjustment." You don't brush him off. You're like, "Oh, okay, he's definitely putting me in the position to win these games or win my battles one on one." So the moment you start saying this coach is a bum, he's a fat slob, whatever they're saying about him over there, the
Yeah.
moment you start saying that, you're already giving up, you're already losing, you're already not trusting the process, and that sucks for not only the coach because he has players that don't believe in him, but that sucks for the players too because now you're not putting in your full effort. It's just like a psychological thing. It's kind of like when you have a boss at work you don't give a shit about. What are your odds of wanting to work your best effort for that boss? You're probably like, fuck this guy. I can care less about this job. I can care less about this clown. I'm trying to get out of here. I'm trying to get him fired, wherever the hell it is. So it's the same thing when it comes to, being a football player and your coach is sitting here telling you to do this, this, and that. Yeah, like, man, fuck this clown. Like, professional or not, if you don't believe in the system, if you don't believe in whatever goal you're trying to achieve and that guy will get you there, you're not going to win many games. You're not going to be that successful because you're already kind of losing in the beginning. So I think it's more worrisome that there's rumors and reports coming out that these players are like, man, fuck this guy in his stupid hat.
I mean, Dallas, they have come out pretty bad, albeit Dak was on pace for a record-setting season. The only teams they did beat were the Giants and
The Falcons.
Falcons on a miracle comeback. So yeah, I can see the players being frustrated that they're not in games like they should be, considering the talent that they have on offense. But do you think that is even true that it's the coaching staff's fault, considering Mike McCarthy's record in the NFL, Super Bowl winning head coach? Do you think it might actually be on him, or do you think it's the players? I don't know, being too diva, I guess, if you will.
I mean, that's always hard to tell because you don't have the, all 22 film. You don't know what's actually going on beyond, in the locker room, in game adjustments. Like, what if Mike McCarthy's calling all the right shit, but the players are not executing it well and they're not, you know, playing to their full potential or whatever the hell is going on. So there's really no way to tell unless you're kind of within the organization. But I mean, Mike McCarthy, when they made that signing, everyone was kind of skeptical because a lot of people were saying that he was only successful because of Aaron Rodgers and because of a strong team that was built over there in Green Bay. Because once Aaron Rodgers was injured or um, once the talent started dipping over there in Green Bay, Mike McCarthy's coaching wasn't living up to par. So I remember a lot of, when he got hired at the time, a lot of people were kind of on his side. I mean, maybe I was in the wrong circles or whatever, but for the most part, not a lot of people were excited about the hire because a lot of people felt like his success was because of Aaron Rodgers. Um, so I don't know. There's no way to tell kind of what's going on in the background. Obviously, this last game they played without Dak Prescott. They played with Andy Dalton, who fizzled out in Cincinnati. So I mean, it could be he's calling the right plays and Andy Dalton wasn't seeing shit because Dak Prescott was able to put up points. Their defense just couldn't stop anybody.
Yeah, I mean, there's only so much as a coach you can do when, your star running back fumbles twice. And yeah, I mean, you're working with your backup quarterback, might not be familiar with the system. And I guess one of those interceptions was questionable, but I can't remember if the other one was a bad read on Dalton's part. Either way, though, I guess only time will tell considering how the rest of the season goes. It would just suck to see players give up on him if, it's not really his fault that some players aren't buying in for whatever the reason might be. I think it also sucks that it's an anonymous source being like, this is what's going on rather than keeping it in-house. I don't think as a head coach or even as a teammate you want something like that leaked. I mean, that's that's some rat shit right there.
Yeah, that's definitely frustrating and annoying from a Cowboys, fan perspective of like, you just got this coach for, 5 weeks into the 6 weeks into the season, and people are already calling for his head when everybody, had to deal with, Garrett's 8-8, constant 8-8 seasons, and they were sick of it. Then you get this guy, and it's like starting worse, and you're just like, okay, what the fuck? And then you're just like looking for someone to blame. I don't know. It's super interesting. I guess, like you said, only time will tell. But the way the season has gone so far and all these reports coming out, you're like, dude, is this guy gone at the end of the season? So I don't know. It'll be interesting.
I mean, at this point, I wouldn't be surprised if he was gone halfway through the season, if something like that is actually true.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you for listening in to this clip of the Moose Bros podcast. If you enjoyed this, please like, comment below, and subscribe to this channel to see more clips just like this one. If you want to listen to the whole podcast, you can find us at Spotify or Apple Podcasts under Moose Bros Sports.